Hello, this is John Baugh, and I'll be your instructor for CIS 1440, which is JavaScript programming. This particular overview of the syllabus is for fall 2015. First, I'll go over some general course information. The course will take place online. We don't have a specific meeting time, so you don't need to, block out a specific chunk during the day where you have to meet with me. I record the lectures and materials and upload them each week by Friday, but I try to get them by Monday or Tuesday of the week specified. But Friday is an absolute latest if I'm sick or something else goes wrong, which I will let you know. But please check Desire to Learn frequently so that you know when materials have been uploaded. I will make folders to correspond to the specific weeks and specific topics that we need to address. We will meet online. You basically just log in to Desire to Learn and then go to the specific site that you need to, which is JavaScript programming for the web. You click on that and you'll see something like this. You should see, if you go under Content, you'll see the syllabus under the table of contents, and also a week one which will have material under it as well, such as PowerPoint presentations and other things. But everything you need will essentially be through Desire to Learn. A little bit about me if you haven't had me as an instructor before. My name is John P. Baugh, and I have a master's degree in computer science. I'm currently pursuing a PhD in information systems engineering at the University of Michigan at Dearborn. When I got my master's degree in 2007, I worked for Siemens PLM Software after I obtained my master's degree. I worked there for around 5 years as a software engineer in licensing and business intelligence. Prior to that, while I was working on my master's, I worked at U of M as a research assistant for the Vehicular Networking Systems Research Laboratory at the Department of Computer Science. So I've been teaching for quite a long time. I've been an adjunct at U of M and also at Schoolcraft, and I was appointed here in 2000 at OCC in 2011, and I got tenure, the last, which they call continuing contract here, tenure. I got after 3 years of what they call probationary faculty. So last fall, 2014 was when I got tenure, and I was also elected as the chairman of the department. So, on the Orchard Ridge campus in Farmington Hills, Michigan, I am the computer science or computer and information systems chairperson and one of the 4 full-time professors. Many of the professors are adjuncts, but the ones who do online courses, at least for CIS, are all full-timers. So my office is room F117. Make sure you go to the Orchard Ridge campus. A lot of the campuses have letter names for different buildings, so just be very, very careful that you're on the right campus if you come to visit me. My office hours are as follows. Mondays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. online. I will just be basically more attentive to email and such at this time, or I will attempt to be most weeks. But I will have in office at room F117 Tuesdays 2:30 to 5:45 and Thursdays 2:30 to 5:45. I'm here basically all day on Tuesdays and Thursdays, about 14 hours or so, because I have a class in the morning and then I have a class in the evening. If you need to meet with me outside these hours or want to speak online, we can work out various arrangements for that as well. But also note that the office hours are subject to change, and since I'm the chairman, I do end up in random meetings all over the place and all kinds of stuff, so just be aware of that. My email is jpbaugh@oaklandcc.edu. Please use this email if you're trying to contact me. You'll notice on my YouTube channel, which you'll be looking at some of the videos through, there is a profjpbaugh@gmail.com, but please don't use that for contacting me related to OCC related things. So, course objectives. This course introduces the students to the fundamentals of JavaScript as a client-side scripting language for the purpose of developing dynamic web-based applications that run within a web browser. Emphasis is placed on programming techniques and web technology. Topics include functions, data types, operators, strings, arrays, control structures such as selection control structures and repetition control structures, if you're familiar with if statements or for loops and things like that from other programming languages, form validation, event handling, the DOM, document object model, and debugging. Students should be familiar with fundamental computer usage, word processing, and HTML prior to enrolling in this class. The prerequisite that is listed is 1420, which is HTML and CSS. However, if you've had CIS 1400 or comparable industry experience or experience from another college and have transferred, then you should be okay. But if you have absolutely no idea what HTML is, or you've never dealt with it and you haven't spent a decent amount of time with it, then this is probably not going to be a very pleasant experience for you. So I'd recommend you definitely take a course with that first. Students will be required to complete computer-based assignments inside and outside of class. Since we're online, it's pretty much outside of class. Also, jQuery will be covered extensively. Although the name of this course is JavaScript, jQuery is a set of libraries that is used extensively on various websites. And by libraries, we don't mean just a bunch of information about it. A lot of people get very confused when the term library is used. In the context of programming, typically when you hear the term library, we're talking about sets of code that's already been written for you, and you can just basically call functions, okay, which we'll learn how to make our own custom functions in this class with JavaScript, but jQuery is basically a collection of functions and various data that you can use to make your life a lot easier as a web developer. It is not like training wheels, so don't think that if you learn jQuery that it's not real hardcore programming and it doesn't count. JavaScript is the fundamental language, but jQuery, basically a lot of developers got together and said, hey, you know, there's these really cool things we can make happen and make them work on all kinds of different browsers and keep ourselves from having to go crazy. So they wrote all this code for you and refined it, and they use it themselves, and so do hundreds of thousands of other people, or hundreds and thousands of other people. So jQuery is used, just as a note, on over half of the top 10,000 websites on the internet, or on the web specifically. So it's definitely something you should have in your toolkit. So JavaScript and jQuery are two, in addition to HTML and CSS, two of the fundamental things that you should understand as a web developer on the client side. So it's definitely important. Again, prerequisites, CIS 1400 and or CIS 1420 or equivalent experience. There are two textbooks that I've chosen for this class. There have been many different textbooks used in the past for this course, but I found some very, very good books, I believe. And the one that we're going to use mostly, at least more directly, is Murak's JavaScript and jQuery. It's by Ruvalcaba and Murak. It's Ruvalcaba, not to be confused with Chupacabra. And there's the ISBN number, and then also a book by Duckett. If you don't have this, I would strongly recommend you get it, but this one right here is the absolute required book, is the Murak's book. But if you can get both of them, neither of them are extremely expensive, so I think combined they're probably $80 or something like that. So I would definitely go for these. And if you go on Amazon, or even check out the bookstore and see what kind of deals they have, Barnes and Noble, what have you, you should be okay to get these. They're very, very good books. This one right here takes a very, very, I guess, artsy approach to it in a lot of ways. And the book is full color, and it takes a lot of really, really good stances on different topics. So it's a very, very good support book for this one. I wouldn't use this book particularly as a standalone book for a course, but it's a very, very good reference guide, and it's actually really good to go through the chapters in this one. They're mostly a lot quicker, I'd say, than the chapters in here. But they're full color and they're kind of cool. So I would say read them in tandem. I tell you which chapters kind of correspond and what to read in the schedule, which is later. Topics covered in specific are a review of HTML5 and CSS, also JavaScript essentials, DOM scripting, testing and debugging, and then we spend a lot of time on jQuery. So we have jQuery fundamentals, the effects and animations, validation, and UI essentials. The books also have other information, such as jQuery mobile. We may or may not get to any of that. So the website is Desire to Learn. If you've been here at Oakland Community College for any amount of time, you have used this before, but you just have to go to oaklandcc.edu. Then you click on Distance Learning, which is on the far left. Once they roll out the new website, it will probably say something like Online Learning, but regardless, you go to Distance Learning, and then you're able to click on Desire to Learn and then log in to Desire to Learn. So the stuff that's included here will be PowerPoint slides, class announcements, course syllabus, test dates, handouts, and other information. It will also include news items, like, for example, if for whatever crazy reason I'm extremely sick some week and I say, hey, no class this week, or I won't be able to be in my office hours or something like that, I will typically try to post stuff like that to the website. Email. All students must use their student.oaklandcc.edu email account. Now, if you have just signed up for the course or you're asking me questions, several people have. A lot of you are using personal or work email. But past that, when we actually start talking about stuff involved in the class, please use your student.oaklandcc.edu email account. You get one if you've registered. It's your username at student.oaklandcc.edu, and please use that to email me, jpbaugh at oaklandcc.edu. There's no student in my name. If you have any questions about the course or need assistance, please contact me by email, and I will respond as soon as possible. For grading and evaluation of the class, there will be programming projects, JavaScript programming projects. You have Programming Project 1, Program Project 2 and 3, and a capstone project. This will basically just be another programming project. It may or may not be really that much difficult than the other three. It's just called capstone because it kind of is the culmination of all the other stuff you've done in the course. There will be a midterm examination. There's no final exam. For the midterm examination, since this is an online course, we will work out various times for you to come in and take it. You don't have to show up at a very specific time that I make everyone show up at. And if you're far distance, like if you're in another, distant city, or you won't be able to take it during a specific time, we will work out something for a proctoring situation. You could also take it at any of the other campuses. They're supposed to proctor for us as well. So, other optional other homework, there will be varying on points there. So you might get a 10-point assignment here, a 15-point assignment there, or I may or may not assign other homework other than these projects. I may make suggestions but just not collect them, but sometimes I will. You will turn in everything that we do through Desire to Learn. Do not email it to me. Do not print it out and send it to me or anything like that. No carrier pigeon. No Tyrannosaurus Rex showing up at my door with it in a nice little envelope. I don't do paper. I don't want your flash drive. I don't want digital copy sent to me through email. Don't do that. You upload it to Desire to Learn. Now, we'll go over specifics when we get there, but in Desire to Learn, under Assessments, Dropbox is where the assignments will be located most of the time. If not, I will tell you otherwise. Here's the grading scales, pretty typical. 95 to 100 is an A, 90 to 94 is an A minus, etc. Don't shoot for the F, that's very bad. Typically in my courses, I'm not exactly a tyrant when it comes to grading. I'm usually pretty flexible with a lot of different things, and I'm usually a pretty generous grader. So do your best, and you will probably get somewhere in this range, the A and B range. If you don't do anything, or you're just not putting enough effort to make stuff correct or close to correct, then you're probably going to shoot for the C and D range. And if you just don't do anything, you're probably going to fail. So don't do that. Projects and homework. Again, I'll assign 4 programming projects. One's the capstone. And additional homework possibly might be assigned at my discretion. So what about late penalties and homework? I do reserve the right to reduce your points just for being late. I'm sometimes flexible with this as long as you're not being unreasonable. Like I know life happens. People get sick. People in your family or friends or what have you, or pets even, pass away or get really ill. I understand you have to go out, maybe planned vacations, things like that. I usually try to be very, very, very reasonable with stuff like that. But please let me know and keep me in the loop as to what's going on so I know what's going on. Everyone's entitled to a bad day, a bad week. Just try to not make it a bad semester. If it looks like it's becoming a bad semester, then withdrawing may be a good idea. Okay, 15-week tentative course outline. Semester dates are September the 3rd through December the 21st. And also the last day to drop the course is November the 20th. I put a color-coded guide down here. M is for Muroc, D is for Ducat. It's also obviously with the letters, but it's color-coded. If you aren't colorblind, you should be able to see these pretty strikingly. But the first week, basically we go over the syllabus, which is what we're doing now, and then you should read Muroc 1 and Ducat 1. So, getting started with JavaScript is the next week's materials, Muroc 2 and also D2 and D4. That's the Ducat book with the black cover with some of the color on it. And then we keep going here. Your first programming assignment won't be assigned until early October. I would highly recommend going through the examples through here, even if I don't assign you any specific homework. But by the time you get to the 8th, you will definitely have something to sink your teeth into. Definitely go through examples, though, especially in the Muroc book, but also the Ducat examples are good, too. And it does not take that long to study. Don't sit there and just read, although reading is good. I would have Aptana Studio or some text editor at least open at the time. We'll talk about Aptana Studio in the next, or in the first week lecture. We won't talk about it here during the syllabus. But it's a really, really good IDE for doing web development. You can use Dreamweaver. You can use whatever you're really comfortable with, but Aptana's really geared towards people learning and also used professionally in the industry extensively. So once we do basic JavaScript, we'll go over objects, functions, and events, testing and debugging, arrays, and then DOM scripting. We won't touch any jQuery really for the first several weeks, and then we'll do a review of concepts one week. So basically this week we'll cover everything we've done thus far, and it will involve basically an overall study for the midterm. The midterm examination will be the week of the 10/22. If you have something going on that week or something comes up, we can work something out usually, so don't sweat it. Just contact me and let me know, and we'll try to work something out. The week following that, you will get your second programming assignment assigned, and note that your first programming assignment will be due on October 30th. So basically the day after, or the day after this class right here. So, let me look here. September the 3rd is a Thursday, so I guess we're kind of we're doing a Thursday-based thing. So, but typically I upload stuff by the Monday, so the week of the 10th, I will upload stuff prior to that. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Oh, no. Wait a minute. The week of the 10th, I'll probably have stuff uploaded by the 7th. Okay, 7th or 8th. But it looks like I've made this Thursday based. Okay, so, alrighty, let me see here. We'll do jQuery stuff starting on the week of the 29th. Your programming assignment 2 will be assigned. Then we'll do more jQuery, more, and then some JSON Ajax, or what we would call rich internet application development, and API essentials. We have Thanksgiving recess the week of the 26th, so no videos will be uploaded that week. I'm still typically available by email. Review of concepts, more concepts on the 3rd. That is basically so you can have more solid understanding and be ready for the capstone project, even though we don't have a final examination. And then the last 2 weeks are instructor's choice topics and work on capstone. So I may just say, hey, just work on your capstone this week, and maybe upload little tidbits and things that might help you, on the capstone. But those aren't like full-fledged huge lectures usually. So policy on computing resources. If you're on Oakland Community College's property and you're using their resources, which includes the wireless networking off of your phone or tablet or laptop or what have you, just don't use it to look up anything inappropriate or do anything illegal, and you'll be fine. Policy on plagiarism and cheating. Don't cheat. There you go. ADA notification. If you have or are affected by anything under the Americans with Disabilities Act, you should contact the Access Office and inform the instructor of any special conditions pertaining to your learning. So if you need a little more time on a test, or you need a little bit of an extension on a particular assignment because of a particular disability, you do need to register with Access, and then let me know. They should let me know also, but you can let me know as well. FERPA is an act, a Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act. This basically means that I'm not allowed to release your personal information, which includes, did so-and-so, did such and such student show up at your office to talk to you or come to class or da-da-da-da-da, or what are their grades, etc. Even if you're a minor doing this dual enrollment, I cannot talk to your parents or any relatives without written consent. So you have to give me written consent that says, I give permission for you to talk to, my mother, my father, such and such. This is their names. You have to give me written consent. So otherwise I will say, I'm sorry, I can't discuss this with you. Tell them that, and I can only discuss it with you, the student. There are tutors available in F Building on the Orchard Ridge campus. There are also tutors on other campuses. Many are involved in various web-related things, but there should be a couple, I think, on Orchard Ridge that should be at least vaguely or reasonably familiar with JavaScript. A couple of them might be very good with JavaScript. I'll have to find out specifically who does what. And then I'll be in during my office hours, obviously, as well, and also be available during the week via email. This disclaimer says that I can modify the syllabus as the weeks unfold. I'm not going to, cram in, 47 assignments or turn this into an underwater basket weaving course instead of JavaScript. I'm not going to change them like that. But if I say something like, oh, well, program 1, everyone's having struggle with it. Instead of October 30th, let's make it due November the 3rd or something like that. So I can do stuff like that. I can make changes. I could move up stuff or move down stuff depending on what's going on in the course. So if you have any further questions for me, please feel free to email me at jpbaugh@oaklandcc.edu. Thank you.